Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is about attracting what's meant for you and not chasing. I do not chase, I just attract. And just like and it's a common saying, you do not go chasing butterflies. You sit still, you wait till the butterflies come to you. So that is what this video is about. The law of attraction. What you focus on, you will attract back. And I'm like super big about this in the last year and a half, that especially as I was transitioning into my future self, that is now my present self. I was like, I have to wait till the external world starts reflecting back my changes. So when I left my 8-year relationship, and that's like honestly always going to be my starting point to who I am now, because that was a huge change in my life. And for me, that was choosing myself. And by making that decision, I decided I want to be the best version of myself so I can attract better. So I was like, okay, how am I going to do that? Well, at the time I didn't have a lot of money. So I need to use resources that were available to me. So the first thing I did was put a bunch of holds on like self-improvement books at the library because it's free, and what better way to improve than to read books about it? So I put a bunch of holds on there, and I read quite a bit actually. And I am still reading them because I'm constantly trying to improve. But then I was like, okay, that's one thing. The next thing I need to do was get in shape and start taking care of myself and building habits that I know will take me into a new version of myself that can attract better people in my life. And it's amazing how much has changed. I had new friendships come in. I had old friendships come back. It was very amazing to see once the external world started catching up. I had job opportunities come to me that, were so much better than what I had before. And during these steps, it took, because I hold on, I'm very I will hold on to things so tightly, I will be dragged with these things. And the ship, I'm staying on that ship until it goes all the way down. And I had to change that mentality, because when you're always chasing, you're always in a state of neediness. And when you need things and you're in desperation, you get the wrong things. Now, it's not like every day I'm like in that mindset. I'm always like back and forth. I always have to I find when I start losing myself, I have to kind of detach again from outcomes of things and not hold on to things, because I'm starting to hold on to them again. Friendships and anything, love. Even with being a mom, like my kids, they're my kids, but I can't have that attachment with them, because one day, they're going to grow up, they're going to have their own families. Like I can't, live vicariously through them. I can't hold on to them so tightly that, it's just not good. It's not a good way to live life and to parent, to be honest. So I have to even detach from that outcome, because, eventually my kids will grow up and I will not, they're going to have their own families. That's just one thing. It's attachment with, relationships too, right? Like I have to have this, I have to have this. But the minute I let go and I don't want it anymore, it comes back to me. And that's the thing. When you are in a state of neediness, yeah, you kind of repel everything. But then when you're in a state of abundance and you don't need it, that's when everything kind of comes to you. So then I started doing it. I was like, you know what? Because I journal so I can look back and see all of the things that I asked for in past years. And I'm like, wow, I have those things now. Like I'm living those things that I've asked for, that I cried for. I manifested these things. And it was, I wasn't so attached to the outcome. I just knew I wanted these things. And then I kind of said to the universe, I want these things. Then I let it go, because I was like, it's not going to happen. I'm just going to let it go. And then it ended up, years later, years later, having these things. And now I'm living this life that I always kind of wanted for myself. And I'm like, okay, now I want more. And that's the thing, is like the universe is always working for you. Like, it's always working for you. It wants you to get every single thing you want. Everything you ask for, the universe wants to give it to you. But you need to be in the position to receive it. You need to be the person who can handle it, who can accept it, who can, hold it. Because I knew if I got the things and met the people I met now, 3 years ago, I would not be able to hold those relationships. I would not be able to be that person to hold those relationships because I wasn't that person. The other thing about what's meant for you is you can't screw it up. It's not like, what's meant for you is meant for you. Like, there's nothing you can do that will ruin it. And once I started realizing that, I was like, well, if that's the case, then, I'm just going to focus on myself. I'm going to focus on my goals. I'm going to focus on, my kids. I'm going to focus on my friends, my family. And whatever comes to me is meant for me. Like, I'm not going to hold on to these outcomes, like I'm a single woman and I, obviously I want love, but I'm like at that point now that I learned to love myself that I don't need it. I mean, it's a nice thing to have, but it's not something I need. Now, 2 years ago, it was something I really needed. I did not love myself. Therefore, I needed it. And, I let go so much of my boundaries and so much of myself just to have it. And now that I don't need it, and now that I don't have to chase after it, and I can just sit and attract it, it's coming to me in different ways. I'm very lucky, very lucky. I have a lot of love in my life. So to me, I have a lot of love given from myself. I have a lot of love from the people around me. I don't need it. It's all around me. And once I started loving myself more, that's when it kind of opened up the doors more for more love. And I have a lot of love. So I'm very lucky in that. And I'm very lucky that I learned to and continuously learn to love myself. But now I'm in that state where I can things are coming to me that I didn't even think that was an option. And it's an amazing feeling when what's meant for you and you start seeing the results of it. The other thing too about what's meant for you is always going to be for you. That means bad experiences too. There was a lot of things in my life that I was like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And I didn't realize it until now why it happened the way it happened. And I'm so glad it happened the way it happened, even though it was horrible experiences and I had to do so much learning from it and growing from it. But if those experiences didn't happen, I would not be who I am today. I would not be where I am today. And I would not have the kids I have. I would not have the things I have or the people in my life if those things didn't happen. And I definitely would not be on this YouTube channel talking to whoever is listening to this. And that's the thing is life is, it's I don't want to say pre-planned, but there's something bigger than we can understand happening in the universe. And you don't have to do much for it. You just have to show up in your life and continue to grow and improve on yourself. And then the external world will reflect that. So if you're in a really bad state, in your life, you're in a hard position and stuff, just focus on, just keep thinking about imagining, visualizing yourself in a better place with the job you want, with the person you want to be with the life you want to live. And just keep doing that because you're telling the universe, I want this. And then slowly start doing things that, will be able to hold that. Start moving into different habits that if a person, I want this job. If I wanted this job, what kind of person do I have to be to have this job? What type of person would have this job? And then start becoming that person. If I want this love, what type of person would have this love? And then start becoming that person. And it's the same with anything, you got to imagine what type of person would have that. And then you slowly become that person. And the thing too with what meant to be is going to be is, since you can't screw it up, play around with it, you know, because a lot of times you might think you want something and then you get it and you realize it's not something you want. And it's another lesson you have to learn. But every time you learn those lessons, it just brings you closer and closer to everything that's meant for you. And it all makes sense in the end. The other thing I want to talk about is, and I'm a huge person, like I'm a huge person who's into this kind of thing. I don't even know if that made sense, but angel numbers and like synchronicities and, you know, frequencies and all of that. Like for me, seeing angel numbers to me made me feel like I was on like the right track. And I see them constantly in everyday life. Like, you know, I'll be even asleep and then I'll wake up and there's an angel number on my clock. I'm very big about that. And I feel like even more as I was starting to try and like become the person I am meant to be, I started seeing them way more. And I see them quite often. And I feel like I'm just in the right place, right time. Like I'm aligned with who I am as a person. And now the external world is really reflecting that. I feel like, and I see a lot of mirror numbers too. And I feel like that's like literally the universe saying, you know, yeah, we're reflecting what you want, Rachel. It was a funny thing that happened too, because like I went on ChatGPT to make like alternate personality for my like persona for myself, right? And the personality is like named Nova, and the personality is like my future self, the person that I'm working towards becoming. And I was like driving the other day and I look and there beside me was a car with a license plate that said Nova, and the car itself was Nova. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's like a clear indication from the universe that I'm like on the right track to keep going. It motivated me to like even become more that person, that alternate persona that I wanted to become. And this, you know, alternate persona is somebody who's like confident and just all these like characteristics that I admire and want to become. And they have the habits I always, you know, like the habits I want to build to. And then I truly believe like with frequency too, like what's meant to be will be, but I feel like when you're on different frequencies, that's when you get different things. So like, have you ever like, you know, had a friendship with someone and you fall out, or like your ex and you never see them again? Well, that's because you're on probably a different frequency and you'll never run into them again because they're on a different frequency. And for me, that's why I'm like always trying to stay on like with my like high frequency emotions and high frequency habits. So I'm trying to get to other frequencies so that I can create a different reality for myself. And I feel like if I continue to work on myself and expand my knowledge and continue to develop the habits and characteristics of this alternate persona that I have, who will eventually be my future self in the future, that's going to put me on a different frequency. And once I'm on that different frequency, I'm going to meet a whole bunch of different people I've never met before. I'm going to experience things that I've never experienced before because it's on a different frequency. I just have to get to that frequency to touch it, right? It's not there yet. And that's what I am working towards. So seeing that Nova on the card was just motivating because it just made me think how, like, okay, like that is basically the universe saying to me, like, keep going, Rachel, you're on the right track, and keep working for what you want. And I truly believe the universe will give you signs like that. If you look around and you see, like, you think they're coincident, like you have those coincidences and you're like, oh, it's just coincidental. No, it's the universe telling. It's the universe reaching out to you and saying, like, I heard you. I'm going to give you what you want, because the universe wants to give you everything you want. You just have to be in the position to receive it. You have to be awake and you have to notice it and you have to work towards it. It's not like something like, oh, I wish that I can make this amount of money and then all of a sudden this amount of money comes. Well, no, you got to like do things to help improve it, like your situation, so that you could be the person to make that money, right? You want to be that person who can have that healthy, loving relationship because you're able to hold it, because then you know what's going to happen. You're going to get it and you're not going to be able to hold it because you're not that person who can hold it. So I truly believe that what's meant for you will find you no matter what you do.